morning. I do that every time. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Please let me know in the chat if you can hear me. I'm hoping this is all going well. Welcome to Sex with Robin on Split Radio. Split Radio standing for Sex Positive Lifestyle Inclusive Talk Radio, where we talk kink, sex, dating, non-monogamy, any and all of that good shit. My name is Robin Beach. I'm a former stripper, former pro-dom, former nurse with experience in cardiology, psychology, and sexual health. And now I work mostly as a sex and relationship educator, coach, and consultant, covering topics, anywhere from sexual health to advanced BDSM. If I'm not able to answer a question, I will try to find the answer, but I'm here. And excuse me, I got my tea. It's it's getting cold. So I got my gloves and everything on this morning. Morning. I say good morning. I'm located in Vancouver, Canada. What is colonially known as Vancouver, Canada, on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Coast Salish and Musqueam Indigenous tribes. Today I was thinking we could talk about community crossovers. And so when I say talking about going from basic sexual health to BDSM, sex positive cultures and BDSM cultures are a little bit different. So let's just get into it. Because I'm going to start with a story. When I was newer to the kink / BDSM community, where you have someone says a kink event or a dungeon party, that's an event that you go to where there's music and play spaces, usually BDSM equipment and stuff like that for people, spanking benches and crosses and things like that. That is a kink dungeon event. Okay. And so that was one of the more first kind of events that I'd gone to. And after going for a while, I went to Sin City in Vancouver, which is a fetish event. And I didn't realize the difference. This is just baby Robin learning what different events are. And so I'm thinking it's going to be like a kink event because they at Sin City, and I'm going to explain more what a fetish event is if you don't already know. There was a dress code, a very strict actually dress code. A lot of kink events are kind of not as much into the dress code, but fetish events had a really strict dress code. And I'm like, okay, you have to be wearing something fetish-y. And so I'm like, all right, I'll go. And this was years ago. I don't know if Sin City, what their situation is now, but a fetish event is not like a dungeon event. There's usually not going to be kink equipment to play on or a play space or flogging. It's typically a lot of dancing, a lot of loud music. There's more likely to be alcohol at a fetish event, but mostly it is about the outfits and the dancing. So I'm there and I ran into somebody I knew from high school. I'm literally wearing at this time, I was wearing just a fishnet, head to toe bodysuit fishnet with electrical tape on my nipples and a thong. So I'm practically naked at this event. And I ran into someone I went in high school with, and he was wearing barely anything as well. He was wearing anyways. And at first it was an awkward moment. And then we were we realized we're at the same event. That happens. If you run into somebody, there's a moment of fear, and then you're wait, you're here too. So we're both busted. So we're both okay. But we got to talking. He was like, oh, I love this event. I come here all the time. And I'm like, really? I'm like, well, have you been to this other party? And he was like, that's a dungeon party. And I was like, well, yeah. But his response was a little bit negative. He's like, oh, those are dungeons and stuff, right? And I was like, oh, feeling a little bit judged. I was like, well, I mean, yeah. And that was it. And it was a really big experience for me learning the difference between a kink event and a fetish event. They are a bit different. I know some people kind of have the joke, I love y'all fetish folks. I do. really cool stuff. But yeah, the joke is like S&M stands for stand and model at a fetish event. It's not as much about play. It's more about the outfit. And I don't know, a lot of dancing usually. So that's not even like a huge distinction in terms of crossover. What other crossovers do you see? Because I know there is a lot. Clearly with like Mandy with the Many Loves lunch hour. Oh, it's now going to be the Many Loves lounge hour, I believe, at 8 p.m. Is that 8 p.m. EST, which would make it 5 PST, I believe. It's 3-hour difference from where I am. So clearly with like polyamory or I'm just going to say like CNM, like consensual non-monogamy, there's a lot of crossover with consensual non-monogamy, like non-monogamy cultures and BDSM and fetish. What else is there? I have actually met a lot of cosplayers, both in the kink scene and in the fetish scene. There are a lot of cosplayers that will go to fetish events because they make really fucking cool outfits. And so I've actually, I know somebody who, to my knowledge, doesn't go to kink events or anything like that, but has been a cosplayer for a long time. And she's actually my cousin, and she designed, oh, it's gone. Shit. My t-shirts with my BDSM and my B-sex positive. She designed the logos for me on that, which she actually designed not all of them, sorry. Anyways. And she does a lot of cosplay. And so I felt really comfortable being like, yeah, so like a mask and a harness, and she wanted clarification. And I'm like, I'll send you some pictures. But I felt comfortable talking to her. I feel like kinky people and fetish people can talk to cosplayers when it comes to like weird shit that you're going to wear. So not to say all cosplayers are kinky, but there's a lot of crossover there. I feel like the things that fetish people and like kink people and cosplayers a lot have in common is we love dressing up. We love it. We love a good outfit, especially if it's like really unique and creative. Tell me about experiences you had and what communities you've noticed crossover in, because I got some more here. Even another story. I have to look up actually what it stands for. One sec. If anyone's familiar with SCA events, like LARPing and here we go. So SCA stands for Society of Creative. Someone's going to have to help me with this pronunciation of this word. Anachronism, Society for Creative Anachronism, SCA. And it says, the SCA is an international organization devoted to research/recreation of pre-17th century skills, arts, combat culture history through events and activities. Okay, so I went to an SCA event, again, early on in my days, when really doing my research on non-monogamy. And I had the book, The Ethical Slut, and I bought it and I brought it with me to a friend to an SCA event that we were going to. And I read it all weekend. And so many people at this SCA event, I didn't know anyone except for the friend who took me to this event. And a lot of people saw me reading The Ethical Slut and were like, hey, yeah, and would like come and talk to me and ask if I had questions. I legit talked to so many people that weekend about non-monogamy because I was just learning. And just by reading the book, seeing people that would like recognize it and then want to discuss it, I thought that was really cool. So I discovered there's a lot of people that are like polyamorous or within the kind of non-monogamy culture in the SCA, or like LARPing folks, the D&D players too. Oh my God, there's that joke. You just ask them what a DM is and see what their answer is, or if they just laugh. Because a DM in D&D culture, I am not a D&D player. I totally appreciate it. I think it's really cool. Brandon is a big D&D player, so he tells me about characters and campaigns and stuff, and I think it's really cool. But there's a ton of D&D players in the kink community. There's a lot of crossover there. So ask them what a DM is, because a D&D player, would say a dungeon master, which is also like, yeah, but they're the person that is essentially in charge and narrating the D&D campaign. I'm probably using awful words for that. I'm not a D&D player, but I can appreciate it. I do appreciate it. And then, yeah, a DM in the kink world is a dungeon monitor, somebody that walks around, maybe play spaces at BDSM events and just helps facilitate, make sure everyone is safe. And, if they need anything, they're there. And so the D&D players that are also kinky are like going to giggle at the whole dungeon master thing, or the DM. How many? So here's a question for y'all. How many of these community crossovers do you feel you identify with? There needs to be a Venn diagram. It'd get really messy though. Because I would say I'm kinky in terms of going to BDSM events. I'm not huge on fetish events, but I can go and I can appreciate them. Definitely non-monogamy. I'm in the polyamory kind of community, and that is a huge part of my life. Queer community. I'm also queer and really involved in the queer community at home here and elsewhere. So those are kind of my major. Ooh, I'm also a healthcare worker, or was. There are a ton of healthcare workers in the kink community. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I really just think when I say we, I'm obviously speaking for all healthcare work. No, I'm speaking for myself. I find the human body incredibly fascinating. One of the things that really have me in awe of the human body is how much the human body can take and recover and be totally fine. And yet how sensitive and fragile we are, where it's the smallest thing could totally kill you. I find that so fascinating. I find the human body to be very fascinating. And I am just well, what else can we do with it? And I feel like there's that kind of the vibe, where people are kind of just sex nerds, because we're what happens when you do this? Well, that sounds fun. Why don't we try that? And see what happens. And just, yeah. So I do think that healthcare workers and kinky people have a lot of that in common. That's just me. I got a comment here. BDSM gives the term dungeon master a whole new meaning, right? Totally. Absolutely. It's a time. For those of you that are familiar, because I have done a lot of my healthcare work in psych, the term CBT, it's going to make a lot of fucking people that are familiar with both of those worlds laugh, because CBT means, in the medical world, cognitive behavioral therapy. It's used all the time. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. In the kink world, it means cock and ball torture. So there's a lot. And in work, I would see CBT all the time, and it just makes me laugh because, have you had your water today? Drink your water. This isn't water, it's tea. Caffeinated drinks apparently don't count. Makes sense because they're diuretics, so it kind of cancels out the water. Oh my goodness. It is a chilly morning. Where are you and how cold is it where you are? I'll tell you right now where I am. Okay, Google. What's the temperature right now?
The temperature in Langley right now is 2 degrees.
2 degrees Celsius. Okay, Google. What's 2 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
2 degrees Celsius is equal to 35.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
35.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Is that cold for you? You tell me. I feel like, at least here where I am, it was really, really nice, really, really nice. And then it's November hit, and now it's sudden temperature drop. And now it's basically winter here now in Vancouver, because that's That's like our winter. That's our winter temperature. So, and lots of rain and windstorms. Okay. Other communities. I know healthcare is a big one. I was going to say, because there's so many different like sub-genres or subcultures, I should say, of different communities. Like when you talk about the DD community, and then there's LARPing, and then there's SCA, is there specifically like a lot of anime lovers or video game lovers or like role-playing games, that kind of thing? Oh, what do we got here? Hello, I got a comment, says I was chilly. It was in the 50s all October here. We just got a warm hot spike. I hate it. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I feel for you. I actually would much rather have colder weather than cold weather. So as much as I complain, I'm actually like, I'm like flannel, and I got my gloves, and I'm my super thick fuzzy socks on. I'm sitting in front of my fireplace is next to me. I got my hot tea. This is nice. I much prefer that than, oh, hi, Sean. Good to see you. Well, you can come visit. It's nice and chilly here. It's actually quite nice because it doesn't get like super, super cold here typically. Not like Alberta when your like face hurts. No, it doesn't usually get that cold, but it's definitely humid here. So it's like cold to your core. But then you just get all snuggly. There was a thought I was having about the kind of subcultures, but it goes like that within BDSM too. I kind of feel like I want to mention the kind of, it's almost like high school, the like little groups for all of you like Mean Girl references. But in the kink community, and this is one of the things I love most about traveling. Each kink community that I travel to seems to have maybe different types of play that are really popular. It's really, really cool. Like you go some areas where needle play is really popular, and they're always wanting people to teach needle play. And that's where a lot of the events are about, like needle dojos and stuff. It's so cool. And then other areas you don't really hear of needle play, but maybe they do a ton of like electroplay, like violet wand play seems to be really popular there. What does Sean say? Sean says, as long as it's not under 40, I'm down. Oh, well, it's what I say, 35. Is that what it is? I'm not good at Fahrenheit. I think they said 35. So sorry. One group I will say I've noticed that's really common in the kink community that is very popular pretty much wherever you go in North America, to my experience, and that's rope bondage. There's in Vancouver, huge scene. Rope is huge here, very, very popular, and seems to definitely have their kind of group. You can definitely tell if you come to an event in Vancouver, and you can tell the people that are doing rope there are like gathered in their cushions. Like you can tell they kind of all know each other and they're doing their thing, and it's cool. So I was actually wearing my rope earrings today, my little bodies with rope on them. It's really cute. Got them off like Etsy. So yeah, there's also the kind of subcultures, because I feel like rope is definitely culture, and I'm not bashing rope. I love rope. I like to do rope, but it's like it's a whole thing. Is 35 cold for you? Is that cold for you? Yeah, I like it though. It's not too cold. For me, this isn't too cold. We're good. Are there any, what about your local area too? Are there any kind of areas of play that are really popular? I have found even within different kind of subcultures of kink, like if you're going to a kink event that is very much geared towards queer and trans folk versus like a pan event, a pansexual event. It's for everyone, but at pan events, there are typically going to be a lot more straight people, and that's totally cool. But I do, tell me, because I know you notice a difference if you've been to queer kink events versus like pan / like straight kink events. It is a different vibe for sure. So I feel like maybe my moral of today is like, go check out other things. If you only ever go to one event, go to other stuff. And the rule of kink is definitely like, no matter where you go, if you're online or if you're going to an event, if you're involved in kink community stuff somehow, you will see things that you are not comfortable with. That's a given. At some point, you're going to see something that makes you uncomfortable. And that does actually happen to me sometimes. I joke that I don't think it's possible to make me uncomfortable anymore, but it happens. It happens. I'll be like, oh, wow, I was not expecting that. I don't think I like that very much. And that's okay. I just look the other way. Maybe, so, okay. This sounds really shitty, but how many of you have been tempted to just like, if you see someone doing something but really, really poorly, you just want to like slip them my card and be like, oh, I love that you're so passionate about this, but that was actually like not the best way to do that. It's really hard to not interrupt because I'm like, but I also don't want to be shitty. So try not to. I don't want to judge anyone when they're playing. I don't want to judge anybody for not having a lot of experience. I might judge you for playing outside of your experience level, which is the part that really hurts. When I'm like, okay, you're trying to go for a 10 in skill level on there and you're not quite there yet. So you got to learn that stuff first. Learn that shit. And that's okay. It's okay to not know these things. Don't play outside of your experience level and don't lie about your experience level. And now I'm on a tangent. So instead of going on a rant about something that pisses me off, I'm going to go on a rant about something that's awesome. And I've got two of some of my favorite toys right now that are on adamandeve.com. We got this one here. This is the rose that people had been messaging me. And they're like, you have to try it and you have to tell me what you think. I know I've talked about it. It's so cool. It's just this little rose and it's even on my shelf. And you can't tell what it is. And it's one of those pulsating clitoral ones. I don't know if you can hear that. Oh, I'm supposed to put it in water so you don't have any water. Hang on. I'm going to put it in my drink. I'm not going to put it in my drink. I should. I'm going to get water. One sec. You wait there. Oh, it's still buzzing. You wait there. I'm getting some water. Water. Okay, I'm back. I hope you didn't go anywhere. I got water. Check this shit out. It's so cool. Watch. I can put it upside down first. That's not as cool, but that's still pretty cool. You're supposed to, and now I just got to push it a few. I keep pushing a button and that changes the rhythm. I didn't know they had so many different rhythms, honestly. Or you could just hold it down. It's just the one button. Okay, whoops, I filled it with water. Are you ready for this? Try not to do this above my laptop. Look at that. That's kind of cool. Now there's water everywhere. So that's the rose from adamandeve.com. And this one is also one of my favorites. It's called the Deep Love Thrusting Wand. And I'm always looking for a good thrusting wand. This one is one of the deepest that I've experienced that also didn't feel like I was going to break it. It goes an extra 1.75 inches in terms of movement. So I'm a really big fan of that. That's all on adamandeve.com, which both of these, Well, you'd have to get just one, because with my promo code SWR on adamandeve.com, I got to pull this up right now. SWR gets you 50% off almost any one item. And these are both pretty nice items. They're not badly priced, but if you use SWR, you get one of these half off and free shipping in the US and Canada. So if you honestly want both, here's what I would do. I would just order this using promo code SWR. You get free shipping anyway, so it doesn't cost you to then do it again. Go back to adamandeve.com and then get the rose. Using promo code SWR gets you 50% off. Plus, they usually throw in a couple of free gifts. And you get free shipping in both the US and Canada, which is like bonkers because it's hard to get free shipping in Canada. That's my spiel. And I am happy with it because they're really awesome. Oh, last thing. Okay, I had to share this because I was going to go charge this rose. I mean, it doesn't seem to need a charge, but it seems to hold it for a long time. This is the charger that it comes with, and it's a little flat thing, and it says nicely on there. So you can still have it like on your shelf charging, and it's super cute. All right. Okay. I want to know, how many of those communities are you a part of? Even if I just include Brandon too in this, there's a lot covered because Brandon does a lot of the D&D and like the LARPing and the SCA stuff and video games and all that fun stuff. Most of my, overlaps are like within the queer, kink, sex positive, non-monogamy, healthcare worker style. Okay, I need to talk. We have to talk about Mandy's show coming up. Mandy, are you watching? Are you on? You have to comment. Well, she's probably working. Because I'm really excited to see her show tonight. And I was texting her last night. I'm like, what are you doing on your show? I think she said she's basically going to do like a lot of recap of what's going on. Because she's doing her show in the evenings now, the Many Loves Lounge Hour, which is so great. Check out. We still have these. They do still say lunch. So maybe now they're like super, super limited edition collectibles. I've got her one condom case, which I used. It's actually really handy to have this like little case that you take with you to an event, like travel wise, and it can fit up to 4 condoms in there pretty easily. The thing I like about one condoms the most is that you can literally do like your own custom size. So this is for you, Mandy. We're throwing out some of Mandy's promo codes today so that you can help support her. Go to onecondoms.com. Use your promo code ManyLoves for 15% off of your custom size condoms. How much would we all be freaking out if there were only 3 shoe sizes? Go to onecondoms.com. They have over like 66 sizes and options. So you can have the perfect fitting condom and the sex is so much better. And it's way more effective. You're less likely to like lose your condom or have it break or just have it be uncomfortable. Having it be uncomfortable is really, really common. And we make that joke like, oh, it's such bullshit. He says condoms are too uncomfortable. And it's like, no, they can be really uncomfortable. So get one that fits you properly at onecondoms.com. Of course, don't forget to use your promo code ManyLoves for 15% off of your custom size condoms. Look at this. Many Loves Lunch Hour. Limited collectible edition. Super rare because it says lunch. We have to get you some more made that say lounge, Mandy. So now I've got sex toys and condoms all over my desk. Yeah. I still have mine too, but also has the old station on it. So I'll just do that. Oh my goodness. What a day. What a day. It is nice. I'm starting to notice more events happening and coming out, and I miss them. Do you have any specific events that or community events that you would like to see? Of course, I want to see more BDSM events in Vancouver. we're a little low and short on them. But I have started hosting my own little personal small parties for all the debauchery and shenanigans. That's where the good stuff is actually, I think, is the private parties. The harder ones to go to because they're private. They're not typically open to the public. So you just got to meet the right people. How do you meet the right people? Go to events. I tell people to volunteer is a really great way to meet people. And also, like, events can be expensive. So volunteering is a really great way to be able to afford to go. And you meet people, just make sure you're not volunteering as somebody that would require experience. Don't volunteer as a DM. Does that apply in D&D culture as well? Don't be a DM if you don't have the experience. I imagine a dungeon master would need some knowledge or experience to DM, but I don't know. You tell me. You got to learn somewhere. Learn the kink before you learn to DM. Learn to play D&D before you DM. Does that apply? I don't know. I'm not a D&D player. But you know what is great to volunteer for is like helping with cleanup or setup of an event, setup or takedown. I really find working like at a registration desk or like a sign-up desk where you're taking tickets and stuff is a really great way to meet people. It's also quite accessible because you can sit oftentimes if you're not able to lift heavy things like me. And you can meet people, unless that might be a difficult thing. But you know what? It's a good way to meet people. I'm all for that shit. Get to know people, and then you're more likely to, find other events, meet other people, and discover crossover communities that maybe you didn't realize you were into. And the more you meet people, the more you see how much crossover there is in so many different, just cultures. Am I missing any? Am I missing any of the like community crossovers that you often see in the BDSM community? Please let me know, because I think thought of most of the ones that I can, but I'm also really just speaking from experience. So do you find, like when I say healthcare workers, I mean a lot of paramedics, care aides, a lot of nurses. I know a few doctors, but the ones I know don't really go to public events because they're afraid of being outed and could lose their job for it. So sadly, that's the case. So the doctors I know that are knowledgeable and interested and super kinky, because they're you're not likely to find them out at a public event or something like that. But do you notice other crossovers like in your life? Are you like, where do you work? What kind of work do you do? Do you find that common? I've actually met a lot of school teachers, but of course they often have to be closeted as well because they don't want to lose their job either. And now now I'm sad. Don't be sad. We need to end on a positive note. So hang on, let me fix this again. So now, I'm trying to think if there are any other communities that I'm missing or that you've noticed, because also different geographical areas, like I mentioned, are going to have different things that are popular and different things that are in. So I will say people that are, fairly left. I don't think you see a lot of hard right folks in the kink community, but let me know what you think. Maybe don't. Maybe we shouldn't go there. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think we're needing to sign off soon, because I honestly, I'm out. I thought I'd be able to talk about this for an hour, but I don't want to bore y'all. And I don't know if I have anything left other than let me know if I missed any communities that you see a lot of crossover in with the BDSM community. And how many of those kinds of communities or identities do you feel you identify with? Let me know. And I will be figuring out what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the year. I still haven't. So let me know if you have any of those requests. Send them my way, and I'll make it happen. If it is a request that, because I do have requests that I still haven't done yet, but a lot of those I just want to make sure that I have a guest with me that is maybe more qualified or more appropriate to discuss some of those things. So if you give me a request and I haven't done it yet, it's because I'm looking for somebody to come on the show, but feel free to keep poking me. So I make sure that it happens. Let me know if you have requests for topics. And I'm really looking forward to Mandy's new and improved show. That's going to be Mondays, I believe 8 p.m. Eastern time, which would be 5 o'clock Pacific time, p.m. So I'm going to be on tonight because I want to see how this goes. I'm really excited to see what this like kind of new scheduling platform might look like, because there are people that tell me it is difficult to listen to the live show on Monday mornings because they're at work. I also have people that say they love having the show on Monday mornings. So I'm going to be keeping it Monday mornings. For Mandy, it'll be easier for her to do evenings. And I really think it'll be easier for also a lot of other people to do evenings. So I love you all so much. Yeah, I guess I'll just see you around. If you want to contact me, you can just comment on these videos because I get notified for that. And my social medias are at Sex with Robin. That is spelled with an I. And there you are. I'll put that on the screen right there. Thank you so much for checking in. Don't forget, after these live shows, you can still get these videos. You can watch them on YouTube, my YouTube channel at Sex with Robin, or on Spotify. All of the Split Radio shows are going to go on Spotify as well. That's under Split Radio on Spotify. You can find the link at splitradio.com. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. If you're interested in having a show like associated with Split Radio, meaning you wouldn't have to pay for your airtime or anything like that. Mandy and I want this to be an accessible platform for literally sex positive, lifestyle inclusive talk radio. So if you're interested, let me know. And I'm here to volunteer some of the time and money to help allow people to have a platform for their content, because that's what community is about. It's about sharing information and sharing knowledge and supporting each other. And if your loved ones and your family do not support you and accept you for who you are, I am your family now. Thanks for watching Sex with Robin on Split Radio. I'll see you next Monday. Bye.
Polyam, the loose smith is a total sham, and should I say, sir or ma'am? So after you get your